Hi, my name is Tanisha Smith. This is my first live snapshot, and I'm just going to jump in. I'm going to start with chapter 1. There are two sections that kind of stuck out to me. The first one is on page 10. It talked about curriculum as complex questions. Basically, with that, it just stuck out to me because when you have curriculum, you should be able to ask higher knowledge questions that are complex. It ties into what you teach with a further or more advanced concept so that you fully understand that your students are getting it, they're mastering it, you're teaching it with fidelity. So I'm not just asking surface level questions. I'm not only teaching to the low kids, I'm teaching to the high kids, and the curriculum should allow you to build from right there questions to complex questions because of the amount of rigor that goes through each chapter or lesson. All right, another thing that stuck out to me was page 19, the cultures of curriculum. This stuck out to me because I look at myself and the way I teach, and at the bottom it talked about the 8 curricular cultures, and the one that stuck out to me the most was constructing understanding. Why? Because I feel like that's the way I teach. I want to make sure you understand. I feel like curriculum should spiral. That was one issue I had with third grade curriculum last year when I had to jump into it for the fourth quarter. I didn't see the spiral. I didn't understand why we were doing things the way we do. And I felt like if it didn't spiral or if it didn't build from one concept to the next, how can the kids get it? It's kind of like you buying your kids some shoes they don't want. They're going to wear them, but when they don't want them anymore, they're just going to throw them in the closet. So for me, I don't want it thrown in the closet. Use it again. If I teach you adding, when I get to multiplication, you can be able to use that because you built off of it. So I feel like curriculum needs to spiral, and constructing understanding will allow you to spiral the curriculum in the way it goes. All right. The next part was chapter 2. That was, I guess, my biggest portion. I just got a lot from chapter 2. One of them was, the main thing was stepping when it related culture to curriculum, saying that, curriculum is basically culture. I kind of took a minute to think about that. And basically it talked about how our culture, everyone's individual cultures, we only see through those cultures, but we're not necessarily awakened until we see through the views of others. And with curriculum, you're not supposed to see it for the way you can teach it. You're supposed to see it for the child that can't understand, the child that's from a different culture, the child that learns a different way. So when you're seeing it in that aspect, the environment of the classroom will create a culture for the curriculum to enable learning. One thing I said is curriculum as a culture. I actually taught about culture last week in our third grade, and one thing that I had to explain to the kids was that culture is who we are based on the environment and things we've learned and value through our experience. So when I stopped to relate that to this text, I said culture is who we are. So basically the curriculum in a classroom is basically the who we are, and everything around it is built so that the environment makes a culture that enables everyone to value the same information, however, through individual experiences. So all of that just boils down to, it's the actual curriculum. The classroom is set around that environment. Just like your culture, you value the things inside your culture. You should value the things inside of those curriculums. And again, like I said, it just made me think about so much. Chapter 3 was a turning point as well. There was a page that stuck out to me. Trying to see if I can find it. The one that said on page 36, what should we be taught, and why would we teach it? So the concern goes from, for curriculum, not what should we teach, but why should we teach it? What is the value in it? Which is kind of like what I was talking about, I explained to my kids last year. In culture, we look at the things in our environment, in our surroundings, in our community that we value, and then you understand why you teach it. And then from valuing it, you'll know how to organize it, or how to keep it as prized, like a prize. This overall thing has just kind of kept me, again, like I said, awakened, and it still got me a little frustrated with, my own curriculum that we're using, because I just don't, especially in ELA, I don't see the connection with what kids will be tested on at the end of the year versus what we're teaching. I feel like the complexity is not there. The curriculum is, it seems like it's only geared towards certain kids, and it doesn't necessarily, like in chapter 2, it doesn't jump out to everyone. It's not seen through the cultures of others. It's only seen through one culture, and it makes it hard for others. So this chapter, again, like I said, it just kind of, it has stuck with me. I'm glad I did this course. I hope my snapshot is productive in what it was supposed to do. But again, it really enlightened me. Good night.